Part 5. Hollywood Revisited, where the back door opens again. Suddenly, in the 70s, I was popular again on the West Coast. I also went back to Broadway to do a big old flop of a musical about silent movie maker Max Sennett and his tempestuous relationship with Mabel Normand. Mac and Mabel, Bernadette Peters and I were magnificent. Loved the score, hated the script.
One said that a good actor can make a bad script interesting.
Well, I was wrong, wasn't I? My next film project was made a movie. Enough said about that. I did many more films, some for the big screen, some for TV, too numerous to mention. But I did get to play an alien in The Last Starfighter. But never mind. I still had one good run on Broadway left. In 1977, I replaced the star in a show called Sly Fox. He'd been in it for 2 months, and that was enough for him. So I went back to Broadway in a role created by George C. Scott. It was a good move. I got better reviews than he did. Oh, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. I even wanted to shave my head again to make it easier for costume changes, but Catherine would have none of it. I believe it would have brought back too many painful memories. And now, folks, you have a delightful surprise coming to you. A tribute to one of my favorite films ever. I've been lucky. I've worked 3 times on stage and twice now in films with gals who could do it all. And by that I mean Mary Martin, Barbara Cook, Bernadette Peters, now Julie Andrews. Everything I ad-libbed, Julie was right there. Including this dance number from Victor Victoria, printed on the very first take. Music, maestro, please! Represent the kind of creature people would like to see. And we don't care that tomorrow comes with no guarantee. We need each other for company. And come what may, you and me will stay together year after year. What we, my dear, will always be you and me. When you find out how a guy moves on the dance floor, you find out how he walks down the stairs out on the street. While we were filming, Julie never took her eyes off me. She was watching me to see what fellas do. I said, look, I'm going to play gay. Don't look at me for fellas. And we don't care that tomorrow comes with no guarantee. Leave each other for company. Somebody asked me why I don't swing my hips more in the movie. I said, no coward never minced, except to make a point. Never. In fact, you're every kind. And now, as an encore, I'd like to do a little ditty for my youth and the end of my career. There was a man named Michael Finnegan. He had whiskers on his chin again. Shaved them off, but they grew back in again. Poor old Michael Finnegan. Begin again. Do you know Auguste Dupin? You ever heard of him? He's a Poe character, Edgar Allan. He's the detective in the murder in the Rue Morgue. He's more ingenious even than Sherlock Holmes. Well, Dupin used a process to solve his crimes that Poe called ratiocination. It's a combination of deductive powers and creative imagination. I mention it only because I also, in a limited way, mind you, have developed ratiocination. For example, you are a fashion designer who plays a little softball, likes a lot of brandy, and are a hopeless romantic, right? Not a romantic, eh? Oops. Well, no one is as good as Dupin. Go milk a duck. Romantic love. It's as brief as a flower, but there are few stronger forces on it. It makes reckless fools out of responsible people, and there's no protection. Even age doesn't insulate us. Why do we always expect to find the secrets of life in somebody else? Let me tell you what I did when I was your age and mired in romantic love. I was obsessed with the woman every waking hour. I used to make up lists of things I was going to say to her and then prepare beforehand how I was going to say them. I actually found myself whistling corny tunes on the street. Couldn't eat or sleep. Neglected my wife and my job. I was a selfish bastard and an emotional mess. Everything turned to shit. That's romantic love. Only with time and patience do we regain sanity and a sense of proportion. Only then do we discover that romance is cotton candy. Real love is what you do for each other. Catherine taught me that. We filmed Finnegan Begin Again in 6 weeks in late spring in Virginia. It's a touching and funny story of a May-December romance. Mary Tyler Moore and I were the improbable couple. Mary asked me once during a break in the filming in front of the crew if I still remembered all the words to Trouble. I did it for her right there, perfectly, right on the spot. Mary sat there with her jaw on her lap as if I'd just stolen her middle name. And that starts with T, with a capital T. Gotta rhyme it with P, that rhymes with P, and that stands for Pooh. While filming, we got word on June 15th, 1984 that Meredith Willson had died from heart failure. He was 83 years old. Working with Mary Tyler Moore was a joy, and there's actually a sacking out scene in the movie. I get to make love to Mary on the floor in front of a roaring fire. Now, how many other 66-year-olds get a chance like that? Did I say 66? What was it that Ogden Nash wrote?
Time is so old and love so brief. Love is pure gold and time a thief.
That's it. Where are the snows of yesteryear? I didn't see them disappear. And all at once some souvenir, something from times gone by, touches me so. I'd like to know, how did the time slip by? The most upsetting thing about seeing my old films again are realizing how many of the people I worked with are now gone. That's sad. Jimmy was the first to go. Ames. Go with me. Stay with me now. Part 6. Epilogue. 1987. The year of my death. Ironically, I wasn't the only music man to pass away that year. Great Bolger died in January, Danny Kaye in March. Almost music men. We also lost Fred Astaire, Bob Fosse, Rita Hayworth, Lauren Green, Lee Marvin, John Huston, Mary Astor, Sean Andy, Liberace, and Andy Warhol in 1987. I left this world on March 21st, cancer. Now I inhabit this limbo of my memories, my copy of my own personal Stonehenge. Oh, I wish you were here with me. But that's selfish. Thinking not of your loss, but of mine. I know it's a little late. About 26 years late. Took me all that time to get to the footbridge with my girl. Sometimes in the evening, when you do not see, I study the small things you do constantly. I memorize moments that I'm fondest of. My cup runneth over with love. In only a moment, we both will be old. We won't even notice the world turning cold. And so in this moment, with sunlight above, my cup runneth over with love. I wish I may, and I wish I might. Now good night, my son.